Hey, how you doing? It's Dr. Shawne. What's shaking? Ah. So as we go through tonight's lecture on soothing anxiety, I forgot about Stars Fest. That's a big thing. I just got a notification while I'm talking to you. As we go through some ideas to help soothe anxiety, I think I'm going to take you into my living room with my Christmas tree. Sandra's in the house. Hi, George. How are you guys doing? What's shaking? Boy, it's so funny. Whenever I do a live lecture, it's what I need to face because I'm in high anxiety. And I deal with anxiety on my own quite often. And so I thought this was the perfect time to deal with soothing anxiety. And that's what we're going to do tonight. Let me just show you my tree. All right, there's the tree. I love this frickin' tree, okay? It's the easiest tree in the world. We got this little ornament for my sister-in-law that I just put up. And underneath the tree are my husband's presents and his birthday presents. His birthday is on Christmas. I have my honey bunny was born on Christmas. And I used to tell him that I married Jesus, although not literally. And he's very loving and kind when you think about what would Jesus do, right? And my husband is just like that. And just so you know, Project Forgive is non-religious. Once in a while, you might hear me say my spiritual practices, which I happen to see God, and I do honor Jesus. And here, everybody's welcome. Doesn't matter what religion, faith, atheism. It doesn't even matter. It's forgiveness is a universal theme, and so we honor whatever your belief system may be. We really don't care. And I say that with the utmost love and respect. And what Project Forgive is really about is how to resolve conflict, face conflict, and do it in a way that has compassion and kindness. So it incorporates all religions, all faiths, and a lot of the lectures that I do are on psychology. I happen to be a doctor in communication, and what are some unique, wonderful ways to communicate that bring us together with our families, with our friends. And as soon as I sit down and come on over here, and whenever I go live on Facebook, little Ariel comes. There she is. There's our little kitty, Ariel. There she is. So this is not the normal lecture. We don't have any sponsors tonight. We're not going to do any drawings tonight. I happen to be getting ready to go to Florida again tomorrow. I mentioned the anxiety that I'm going through, and I love to be so truth-telling on Facebook Live. And my pregnant daughter, who's talking about this publicly, her husband had an affair. She's in a high-risk pregnancy. She's in incredible, appropriate grief. She's deeply in love with this man. And it's gone south. And so I've been there the last month helping her and helping her with her kids. She has an 11-year-old and 5-year-old, my grandchildren, and she's pregnant. So I'm getting ready to go back tomorrow. I've been home for 3 days. High anxiety these last 3 days. And I've been practicing some of the things we're going to talk about tonight. And once I go tomorrow, I will be in Florida till she has her baby. She's due February 14th. So I'm there to go support as best as I can, and to physically be there, to love her up as she does a lot of grief work. I feel like I'm the queen of grief. I know how to deal with grief, man. And I've had a lot of family members die. And I know a lot of you have been dealing with your own stuff too. So, with that said, anxiety and soothing it. And I wrote a couple of notes tonight. There's 3 things that I want to do tonight. First I want to talk about when you think about soothing anxiety, especially on the holidays, or if you're not going to see people, if you're hanging out by yourself, the question that I have for you is, what do you want? And it's a really important question because many times we don't take the time to answer. And I think about young professionals. I work a lot in the corporate world around this communication realm. And they say, oh, can you help me get a job? Because I freaking know everybody, especially in my business community. And they say, well, I want a job in communications. And I say, I got it. You need to be more specific what you want. Are you leaning towards sports communication? Are you leaning towards internal communication? Do you want to work with the area on aging? Do older people inspire you? What inspires you? Where do you lean? Because the more specific you can be, the more apt you are to get it. And the same is true with if you're knowing what do you want. Do you want, like, thinking about the holidays, okay, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, however you're celebrating the holidays, do you want to have no fighting? Oh, I would really want people just to get along, especially when it comes to politics. Or do you really want to feel at peace wherever you go? And as you're thinking about this, think about a couple of things that you really, really want. And one of the things that I want is, how can I balance going to Florida and be there for the holidays, balance connecting with my husband, getting my work done because I'm working virtually and I'm still working while I'm in Florida, and also being the most beautiful, loving, compassionate mother that I can to my daughter, and being in that place where I can support her going through divorce. Make sense? So I'm really clear. Those are the three things I really, really want. And as I think about the things that I want, I'm getting ideas like, oh, how can I solve them? Like, one of the ways I'm really supporting Autumn, my daughter, is I'm in charge of mornings. I get the kids out of bed, make sure they take showers, get dressed. I already put systems in place. Brielle, she's 5. She is so hard to get out the door. It's like a big drama, okay? The system I put in place is, I went to the dollar store and the Walmart and got a bunch of $1, $2 prizes and put them in a bucket. And she's so excited about these prizes in the bucket. And in the morning, though, the only way she can get a prize is after she's dressed with her socks and shoes on, her hair is brushed and in a ponytail, and her water is filled up to go out the door. And she's been doing it. And it's been really, really cool. And putting other systems. And I can relate to this. I was a really picky eater. Can anybody relate to being a picky eater? My grandson Draken is 11. He's a very picky eater. And it's been a battle throughout his life, what he's going to eat for dinner. Is he eating enough calories? Because he's very thin. And so the system we put in place in this last month that I was there is, we put all the food that he can eat. We put it under carbs. We put it under calories. We put it under protein. We put it under vegetables. All the things that he can eat that he really likes, that mom approves. And we've slowly been adding things to the list. And it is put on a magnet on the fridge. There is no fighting over what he's going to have for dinner. There's no trauma over it. There is just this list on the fridge, and now he is like trained to go to the fridge because he doesn't like it if we make, I don't know, rice and beans or whatever, and because he doesn't like rice or beans. And my daughter's vegan, so there's sometimes we have vegan meals and he doesn't like them. So when he doesn't like them, he has permission to go to the list and figure out for himself what he can make that's already in the cupboard for him. And I will support him making it. And there's just no drama. So it's just really peaceful. This is the first time I've seen no drama around him eating since I've known him. Because a list was made, a system was put in place. So that's what I mean when I say, what do you want? Because when you know what you want, you can start figuring out how to solve it, okay? So start thinking about what you want. And if you want to throw your ideas in the comments, please do so, and I'll address them if there's time to do that. Here's number 2. Here is one of the best ways to soothe anxiety. For those just joining, we're talking about soothing anxiety for the holidays. One of the best ways to soothe anxiety during the holidays, especially if you got to travel and go to relatives, is having time boundaries. Time boundaries. Used to be years ago, I'd go with my husband to his family's house. We're not getting together this year again. Second year since COVID, we're not getting together. So it's not an issue this year, right? It felt like when we went there, we'd take an hour and a half to drive there, an hour and a half back, right? And then he'd want to be there for 4, 5, 6 hours. And that was just way too much for me. It was like torture. It really was like torture. So we finally came to a compromise, and it would lessen each time. We started off first, I was more surrendering to 3 hours, being there for 3 hours. Then we moved down to 2 hours, and that included hugging and saying goodbye to everybody. Because there's something about my husband's family. Everybody hugs everybody like 20 times before they leave. It's beautiful, but not after you've been driving an hour and a half there, hour and a half back. All the goodies, you got a stomach ache if you ate too much, blah, blah, blah. You kind of get the picture, right? So setting time boundaries before you go. You know what, let me go back to what you want one more time. I forgot something that I wanted to say. And that was, what if what you want, and let's say you were invited to your aunt's house, okay, and you're like, okay, I'll go, I always go. What if you don't want to go? What would it take to give yourself permission to not go? To not go. Like, I feel like ever since COVID has happened, I feel so much more freedom to ask for what I want, say what I don't like, and say no to things. So let's say, I'm just going to use this as an example. Let's say you told Aunt Sally you're going to come to her house on Thanksgiving or on Christmas. And you just decided, you're sitting here thinking, I really don't want to go for many reasons. Could be you've gotten vaccinated and everybody there is not going to be vaccinated. Could be that Uncle Larry gets drunk every time and it's just like, shoot me in the head kind of feeling. Okay, I'm using some extremes, but you get what I'm saying, right? And let's say you changed your mind about going to Aunt Sally's. It would be okay to call her up. This is how the conversation could go. Aunt Sally, how are you? And she says, oh, I'm doing great. Here's the thing. I know I come to your house every year. I committed to being there on the 24th for Christmas Eve. And I'm so sorry. I just can't make it. Oh, you're kidding me. You come every year. Why aren't you coming? Aw, Aunt Sally, it's very obvious that you love me. I appreciate that very much. And then you be quiet. You don't even have to give a reason. Now, let's say she's insistent and says, but why? Why aren't you coming? Oh, it's a long story. It's just not going to work this year. I'm so sorry. You don't even have to tell her why. You have permission to not tell her why you're not going to be there, okay? If that's something that you're wanting, to stay home or to not go that place, you're wanting to not do a commitment you committed to, and that's a cool way to address it, okay? So back to this time boundaries. Think about those time boundaries. What could be a great way to do it? Let's use another example. Let's say you have food allergies, and whenever you go to Grandma Margie's, they have all the food you can't eat, and you already know it. You can mitigate the risk by simply bringing your food. Is it really that deep? Yesterday, we had Christmas here with my other set of grandchildren, and everybody loves Costco pizza. Yay! I'm really on a really health kick and really watching my caloric intake, and I've been losing weight and just really taking really good care of myself. And so I said, great, I'll do pizza as long as we can do chicken parm from Trader Joe's, because that's in my wheelhouse and in my food plan. When I buy a package of those chicken parms, they're 320 calories each parm, and that's manageable for me. A quarter slice of Costco pizza is about 450 calories, and I can eat a whole pizza by myself, man. It doesn't fill me up. So I found a way to get what I wanted, and I even lost a half a pound yesterday, even at Christmas, which is unheard of for me. Unheard of. And so everything I'm telling you, I'm practicing what I'm preaching too, right? Because it takes practice. It takes practice to do these kinds of boundaries. And so think about, what is the boundary you would love to have, love to say? What if it's politics? What if it's politics? One of the boundaries I set early on in my husband's family is, you know what, we're not going to talk about politics. And can we keep it civil conversation and just what your passions are? And it was hard at first because it took a little time for people to get used to it. And the key here is, if you set a boundary like, oh, let's take politics off the table. One of the ways to deal with it is to say, even if you set it to a few, maybe my in-laws, there's like 50 of us. I mean, it's a lot of people. There's 7 brothers and sisters and lots of kids, and it's very busy. And so I can't make an announcement out loud to all people that we're not going to talk about politics. But every time I go into a little group, and if politics came up, I would say, hey, since we all want to honor all our belief systems around politics, many of us have agreed not to talk about politics because it's so divisive. And the truth is, whenever we talk about politics, it pushes us apart. And the truth is, I'd love to be close rather than be pushed away from you. So would you be okay if we put the politics to the side for today? And I've never had anybody say no. And I mean, I guess that could be the worst case scenario if you have a really combative person who's saying, no, I'm not doing that. Okay. And then when he or she starts bringing up politics, you can say something as simply as, you know what, I'm going to bow out of this conversation because I really want to be close to people and close to my family. And when politics come up, my heart hurts. And I don't feel close anymore. And I really need it today, especially after this year, man. I need to be close to you guys. So I honor and respect your choice. I got it. You can say no because people can say no to your boundaries. The key is to be able to do it with grace, with ease, with groundedness. That's the key, right? That's the key to be able to do it. If there's any other boundaries that are coming up for you as you're watching, let me know if you want some ideas on how to do that. And Grace, I love that name, Grace. Practice does make perfect. You're spot on. You get really good when you keep doing something over and over and over again. Yeah. Okay, can actually say not going to work out, Sandra. I'm wondering if it's with an exercise buddy. I'm just looking to see if you guys are saying something I need to address. Ariel's really, really pushing me to pet her here. Okay, let's see. All right. Now we're going to go to number 3. So we're talking about soothing anxiety. We talked about really getting clarity on what you want. What do you want? And then creating some boundaries around it, creating some time boundaries. Thank you, Tammy. You know what I always say? It takes one to know one. So if someone sees someone amazing, you have to be amazing yourself. And Ruth, you're so spot on to be brave enough to be disliked. And it's actually, if I could even go a step farther, it's not even disliked. It's being with the conflict. If you can be brave enough to allow the conflict or to allow people to be upset by your boundaries, that's a really good maturity indicator for you. Because I have people upset around me all the time, and I'm getting really comfortable with that discomfort. Actually, I'm getting so comfortable with it. This documentary that we're working on for Project Forgive is going to really focus on anger. Unpacking anger, because this world is so angry right now. And where does forgiveness and anger go together? And what is this all about? Like, I'm in Michigan, and I just look at this last shooting. It's controversial what I'm about to say, and I'm actually pro-gun. I'm very pro-gun. At the same time, I'm also pro-laws around guns, not AK-47s. I do believe people have the right to bear arms, and we've got a problem that needs to be addressed. We do. I really believe that. And it's such a hard topic to talk about because there's so many pieces to it, and there's so much upset around it. How do we get to solutions if we can't calm ourselves down? And that's what I've been thinking about and listening to and reading about this last month, especially while I've been in Florida and preparing for this documentary. I sure will flag you when it's ready to come out. It's getting closer, too. So last but not least, let me just address what someone said. To be a family, just not going to work out for that to happen this year. Oh, got it. I hear what you're saying, Sandra. Yeah. You know, some of the things I've seen families do is they get online and get on Zoom, and instead of just saying hi, they play a game or something to really deeply connect. That's another way that you can do it, right? Liana, you're so right about speaking your truth. I'm looking to see what Leticia said. Okay, it's a long one, okay. Yeah, and she's talking about praying for her enemies. That's actually really beautiful. That's a synopsis of it. I kind of don't see myself as having enemies for me personally. I know there's people I don't like. Ugh. You know, we all have people we don't like. I don't really feel like I have an enemy because at this stage of my life as a 57-year-old grandmother, I'm wise enough at this point in my life and my perceptions that it's never personal. I know it feels personal. Even if someone calls you a name, it's so not personal. It's really about their own inner world. And I'm so grounded in that, so I don't really feel like I have enemies. But yeah, praying for those that I dislike, or sending good chi, whatever that verbiage is that you would use. I even use the newspaper. I'm a daily newspaper reader. I use it as my prayer list of who to give energy to and who to give soothing energy to, right? All right, number 3. So we've already talked about what you want, talked about some boundaries, and I'm going to do a meditation. And I love to do meditation. I like to call it meditating for non-meditators, because I have a heck of a time sitting still. One of the ways that I meditate is walking meditation, and just being real. It's, to me, meditation is about being so present. That's one big piece. And boy, Ariel is really wanting love tonight. So meditation for me looks different. It's walking, feeling my heel and my toes, being present to nature. I'm a trainer for a living. When I train, I see that as a very meditative process because it's very spontaneous. There are structures to my training, but for the most part, I'm getting hair on my face, sorry. For the most part, though, it's spontaneous, like, okay, this is what's going on in my situation, and we role play and figure it out and help solve things. Sorry, my cat's hair is getting all over me. So meditation looks different for people. My husband, he sits on the floor at least an hour a day, sometimes an hour and a half. That would actually hurt my bones. I couldn't even sit still for an hour. So I like, because whenever I hear meditation, I think you got to sit and go, I ain't doing that. And that's not necessarily what it means, but that's my version of what it means. And so I like visualizations for meditations. So we're going to do a meditation on visioning your holiday. Okay, let's do a meditation on visioning your holiday. I was thinking about doing it on the apology you'll never receive, because that's our signature tool and it brings a lot of peace. But my gut is, let's not do that. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. For those just joining us, we're just about to step into a meditation for non-meditators and envisioning our holiday season, the rest of December as we move into the holidays and gift exchanges and however that's going to go. So take a deep breath. Get yourself settled. Meditators always say uncross your legs and all that. I think you should sit whatever feels good. If it feels good to cross your legs and you feel comfortable in your body that way, things can still get through even if your legs are crossed, so it's okay. I do like closing eyes because it allows your imagination to go a little more vivid. There's a lot of research around that. So if you're comfortable, take a breath and close your eyes, and we're going to meditate for a second, and I'm going to say some words, and of course I'll give you moments where you can fill in your words, and that's what we're going to do, okay? All right, so take a deep breath. I'm going to close my eyes. This is a personal meditation from me, not from the organization of Project Forgive, because Project Forgive is non-religious and nonpartisan. So I'm going to put a little bit of my spirituality in it, if that's okay. I hope that's okay. And if it doesn't feel good, just cancel it. Just say, that doesn't work for me. Take what you like and leave the rest, okay? All right, deep breath. If you can open your rib cage up and let it come into your diaphragm so you can really feel the breath of life. I like to say the breath of God in your body. Feel your toes tingle. Wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers so you can get really present in your body. Feel the back of your spine where your tailbone is as it is hitting against your chair or your couch, however you happen to be seated right now. If you're standing, feel it in the balls and heels of your feet. Whatever feels comfortable. In my world, meditation is about soothing yourself, soothing your body, soothing your mind, soothing your soul, soothing your spiritual parts, connection, whatever that looks like for you. And I want you to envision Christmas week, if it's Christmas Eve Day, Christmas Day itself, Christmas Day in the evening, when you're out and about or you're home alone, whatever that looks like, I want you to envision yourself in that place. Now I want you to envision the people you really want to be around. This is going to really help with that conversation of what do you want, because if you committed to Aunt Sally and you really don't want to go, right now in your vision of what the perfect holiday would look like for you, if she's not there, it's giving your intuition and your inner knowing is letting you know the decisions you need to make that would best support you and be joyful and be feeling fulfilled for the holidays. So see who's sitting around you. How does it feel? Feel joyful. Focus, where's that joy? Are you laughing? Are you connecting? Are people sharing authentically so you can really feel them? Are you sharing authentically so you can really feel them? Are you opening up presents? Are you getting something that you really, really want? Imagine yourself opening a present, if presents are what you do at the holidays. And is it something you really, really want? Feel how good it feels to get something you really, really want. Feel how good. What does it smell like? Are you smelling turkey? Did someone cook it or did you cook it? Are you smelling pizza? We had pizza at Thanksgiving and it was perfect. When I was with me and my 2 little grandchildren, we just had Thanksgiving pizza. For those just joining us, we're simply doing a small meditation for non-meditators, envisioning a beautiful holiday with either ourselves or with friends or with family. If you're alone for the holiday, what could you envision in connecting with someone? Is it taking a pie to your neighbor that's always shoveled your walk or raked your leaves, to bring them a moment of joy? Because sometimes when we're struggling with loneliness, giving to someone else fills us with joy. What are you hearing? Can you hear holiday music? Is that something you can do that you've been wanting? Even if you're doing holidays alone or you're with a large family, can you put on some holiday music that makes you feel good? Or if you can't stand holiday music, putting on some AC/DC or some Led Zeppelin, like that would really light you up. You get to choose what that feels like. For those that are facing grief, I know I am. A lot of our beloved that won't be here at the holidays. And if that's you, you can already feel that whelp in your chest, or you can feel it in your face. Your eyes might even tear up. For those just joining us, we're doing a meditation envisioning the holidays. We call it Meditating for Non-Meditators. You're joining us in the middle of it. And we're just taking a breath and envisioning a beautiful Christmas and a beautiful holiday season. What about surprises? Don't you just love surprises? Are you the type of person that loves a surprise? What would be a beautiful surprise for you? Would it be a sister flying in unexpectedly? Would it be a grandchild calling you up on the phone just because and just to tell you they love you and they got your present in the mail and it was beautiful and they were so happy about that? And if you're not around children and you really would like to be, is there someone in your life that you could actually call to see them on Zoom opening up presents on Christmas morning, so you could relish in their joy of Christmas morning? It certainly is a possibility. Imagine you're satiated, you've had good food, you've eaten what you've wanted to eat, whether it's turkey or pizza, whatever brought you joy for this holiday day. And imagine curling up into bed with a sigh of relief. For some of us, you're just so happy you didn't overeat and you don't have a stomach ache and you can just feel your body. Overeating is sometimes an indication of trying to get filled and trying to fill a hole of loneliness or a hole of pain or a hole of rage or a hole of anger, hole of depression, whatever those feelings might be. I misspoke when I said the word depression. I'm not using it as a diagnosis. Feeling really sad. Let's use that. So imagine laying in bed, the day is over, and you're like, wow, that was just a perfect holiday for me. And if you say prayers at night, if you thank Buddha or Allah, for me it's thanking Jesus, thanking God for the peaceful blessing of this beautiful, beautiful holiday. Deep breath. Wiggle your toes a little bit. Wiggle your fingers. For those just joining us, we're ending a meditation for non-meditators to envision beautiful, beautiful holiday. Beautiful. Oh, sorry, I had my eyes closed, so I wasn't paying attention. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I feel so soothed by that deeply soothes me. I hope you got some soothing out of it. For the new year, I've made a decision that I haven't made a decision how I'm going to do the lectures next year. I do know, though, and as soon as we hang up, I will put up a little bit of the details about the 3 things we just talked about. And my next live is going to be on Christmas Day. I'm going to do it Christmas Day at 6:30 p.m. And I want to do some kind of honoring of those that have passed. So it's going to be an honoring of people in our life that have passed. And because so many times we bypass that grief. And I don't know what the ceremony is going to be. I haven't thought about it much, but I'll think about it. And I'll think about it as I head out to Florida tomorrow and leading up to the 25th. And so that evening at 6:30, I'm going to come on live. I'll be in Florida. And we're going to do some kind of celebration of our beloved relatives that have passed, okay? Thank you, Jeannie. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Sandra, thank you for the stars. They always make a difference for our different programs and such for people that can't afford to come. So thank you for doing that. Yeah, so as of right now, the only thing I have on the calendar is this December 25th. And, yeah, big love to you. Hi, Nadine. Yeah, you're welcome, Leonie. Okay. I will see you guys soon, and have a beautiful rest of your holiday, and I'll see you on Christmas Day evening at 6:30 p.m., okay? Big love. Have a great, great night.